Finding inner peace can feel like a daunting task. Our sense of tranquility is often disrupted by the noise and turbulence of daily life. The demands of work, family stresses, political turmoil, and the constant presence of technology make it difficult to find moments of stillness and serenity. However, achieving a state of deep inner peace is a pursuit that many find valuable yet challenging to attain. This book offers a clear path to discovering inner peace, even in the midst of external chaos. With timeless lessons and enlightening wisdom, this resource provides valuable guidance on how to disconnect from the dramas and negatives that can steal away your peace. You will discover techniques to calm your mind, be fully present, and tap into the deep sense of tranquility within yourself. Start by releasing the burdens of the past, the anxieties over the future, and the turmoils you cannot control. This is where the journey begins. It proceeds by fostering qualities such as patience, a broader outlook, embracing things as they are, and surrendering to the spiritual. By practicing meditation, reflecting on your thoughts, and building meaningful connections, you can find a sense of inner calm and stability, even in the face of challenging circumstances. Discovering inner peace can be a truly fulfilling and life-changing journey. The journey may have its difficulties, but the end result is well worth it. A sense of peace, satisfaction, and deep happiness that is truly invaluable. This book will serve as your essential guide to achieving a lasting sense of calm and stillness that you may have struggled to find before. It is indeed possible to achieve the lasting peace you've been longing for, and it's much closer than you realize. Lesson 1. Be patient with everything that remains unsolved in your heart. Seeking knowledge and finding answers to the profound mysteries that captivate us is a fundamental aspect of the human journey. Since our earliest moments, we have always been filled with an unquenchable curiosity. We constantly seek answers to questions like why the sky appears blue, how babies are born, and what occurs after we pass away. As we age, the questions we ask ourselves may change and become deeper and more philosophical. We may wonder why unfortunate events occur to those who deserve better, what our purpose in life is, and how we can achieve genuine happiness and fulfillment. We all desire clarity, meaning, and resolution in our lives, like a hunter pursuing its prey through the forest, eager to uncover the secrets that will bring us peace. However, even with all our efforts and the vast expansion of human knowledge, there are still many things that elude us. These unresolved mysteries of the heart can be troubling if we refuse to come to terms with them. The Western philosophical tradition has been greatly influenced by the human desire for knowledge, seeking to illuminate the unknown through empirical investigation and logical reasoning. We aim to understand, classify, and conquer everything within our reach to solve the complex problems that keep us up at night. It's important to remember that not every question has a clear-cut answer that we can fully grasp with our limited understanding. The universe and the depths of human metaphysical experience are incredibly vast and awe-inspiring. Despite our scientific and intellectual abilities, their secrets remain elusive. Throughout history, wise sages and mystics have recognized the existence of knowledge and truth that surpasses our capacity for logical reasoning and analysis. Think about the timeless philosophical questions that have puzzled humans for centuries. The purpose of life, the afterlife, and the existence of a higher power or origin. It's important to consider different perspectives and beliefs, as everyone has their own unique understanding of truth. Ultimately, each person must find what brings them a sense of resolution and peace. Even in those cases, there will probably always be some level of uncertainty, with things that are unknown and beyond our comprehension. Even our greatest thinkers are humbled by the vastness of the cosmos, the intricacies of quantum physics, and the philosophy of mind. We are akin to children vigorously attempting to collect the vastness of the ocean in our small buckets. At a more personal level, many of the profound questions and unresolved issues we face are connected to the intricate nature of consciousness, emotion, and lived experience. What caused the downfall of a once promising and hopeful relationship, leaving me feeling heartbroken? What was the purpose or lesson behind the trauma I experienced as a child? Why is my soul being tested by this ongoing illness or struggle? Regardless of how much we examine, review, and dissect the puzzle of deeply personal experiences, there will always be a sense of mystery that lingers. There are complexities in understanding ourselves that cannot be fully unraveled by logic alone. Life is inherently ambiguous, filled with paradoxes and seeming contradictions. Our minds often seek certainty, but it can be elusive. For people who tend to overthink and overanalyze, the unanswered questions and confusion in our thoughts and emotions can feel like a heavy burden, leading us to endlessly chase our own tails in a tiring cycle. We believe that comprehending every intricate aspect of our life journey, grasping the purpose and meaning behind each success and setback, is crucial to avoiding ongoing inner turmoil and dissatisfaction. We long for a clear understanding, interpretation, and resolution to make sense of the chaos of our lives. However, the harder we strive to grasp these insights with our determination and intelligence, the more perplexed and inundated we feel. Understanding the complexities of the human experience requires more than just relying on our own thoughts. It's important to consider different perspectives and utilize various tools to navigate the challenges and emotions that come with living an authentic life. The wisdom teachings of spirituality and ancient philosophy provide a different way of understanding and navigating the unknown aspects of our inner selves that can cause us unease. Instead of getting caught up in the never-ending battle of trying to analyze and solve the perplexing questions that trouble us, these approaches encourage us to be patient, accepting, and open to the mysteries of life. They recognize that the quest for absolute certainty is a fundamental human desire that can never be fully fulfilled. They also understand that clinging to the need to understand everything could be a hindrance, preventing us from finding peace in the uncertain, puzzling, and mysterious aspects of life. Looking at it from a spiritual perspective, the idea that we can comprehend every twist and turn of life is ultimately rooted in our ego. It assumes that our limited human minds can fully unravel and conquer the infinite marvels, intricacies, and mysterious forces of existence. We are similar to a curious schoolchild who is determined to uncover the mysteries of the universe, despite having limited knowledge and understanding compared to the generations of wise people who have studied it. Understanding true wisdom requires acknowledging the existence of experiential mysteries and dimensions beyond our rational faculties and five senses as human beings. It involves surrendering and embracing humility, developing the ability to find peace amidst life's uncertainties and unanswered questions is more important than striving for complete control before finding inner calm. This type of spiritual and philosophical patience brings a sense of peace. It involves actively and consciously embracing life's uncertainties, losses, seeming injustices, and baffling detours with an open and inquiring mind and heart. It's important to acknowledge that not every experience we go through has a clear or satisfying explanation. There are parts of ourselves that will remain mysterious until we're ready to understand and incorporate the insights they hold. Similar to how a wise teacher may wait until a student is ready, existence may only reveal small glimpses of deeper truths and lessons in our trials. The full revelation is saved for when our souls are evolved enough to handle it. Looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, expecting all of life's questions to be answered on our terms and within our limited understanding is a display of arrogance, impatience, and a way of avoiding the necessary work of embracing the uncertainties of our human existence. Ironically, our insistence on finding clear answers often leads to the most distress and upheaval, rather than the unanswered questions themselves. The constant need to untangle every knot we encounter leads to a never-ending cycle of overthinking, causing a flood of worries, doubts, and imagined catastrophes that hold us captive. The unknown and unexplained can become even more unsettling as we encounter a barrage of worst-case scenarios about what it might mean. When we try too hard to figure things out and avoid feeling uneasy, we often end up causing more confusion and resistance within ourselves. It would be better if we could learn to embrace uncertainty with a sense of trust and open curiosity. Embracing radical acceptance and being allows us to let go of the constant struggle to fit life's uncertainties into our narrow perspective. It's important to let go of the need for immediate and clear, cut answers to every uncertainty. Instead, we should embrace the idea that there are certain things that may never be fully comprehensible within our current understanding and perception. We are encouraged to view these spaces not as a challenge to overcome, but as an intriguing and fruitful enigma to explore. Our modern intellectual and scientific culture highly values our capacity to measure, classify, verify through empirical evidence, and create clear theories about the nature of reality and lived experience. We often tend to dismiss or disregard things that cannot be logically explained. However, there are profound aspects of wisdom that go beyond mere intellectual understanding. These include the mysterious coincidences that cannot be explained, the profound sense of unity with the universe, and the intuitive knowledge of why certain events in our lives unfold as they do, even before we can fully comprehend them. Exploring these realms requires a humble and curious approach, like a child marveling at each new day, rather than analyzing and breaking them down like objects in a lab. The wonder of faith, the profound willingness to embrace the awe-inspiring wonder of existence, can only be discovered when we humbly acknowledge the reality of experiences that will forever surpass complete understanding or logical comprehension. As we embrace patience with the unresolved complexities and contradictions within our hearts and lives, we begin to see these spaces as opportunities for growth and exploration, rather than obstacles to overcome through intense mental effort. The unanswered existential questions, the ongoing conundrums of our existence, can be seen as invitations to delve deeper into the mysteries of life and embrace the profound nature of paradox, ambiguity, and the awe-inspiring journey of consciousness. Instead of constantly poking and criticizing the aspects of our inner life that are unclear or undefined, we start to approach them with a sense of respect. It seems that these places hold the potential for our personal growth and development, ready to bring us to new levels of understanding when we take the time to approach them with kindness and attention. Certainly, acquiring this level of patience and surrender doesn't happen overnight. It requires continuous effort to move beyond our overly analytical human mindset and embrace a more open connection with the mysteries of life, unraveling the self that thinks it knows everything and embracing the profound essence of our being that navigates effortlessly through questions. When we feel emotionally triggered or uncertain, we can use meditation to help us understand our feelings. By paying attention to the physical sensations that arise when we feel the urge to overthink or try to control a situation, we can find relief from the discomfort of not knowing why things happen the way they do. Whenever we can recognize the inner turmoil we experience when we seek clear answers, while also embracing the unknown, we enhance our ability to handle life's challenges without reacting impulsively. Life's uncertainties test our patience and help us grow spiritually. By learning to stay open and at ease with the unpredictable aspects of life, we become more mature. This endeavor helps us to better manage our emotional responses and maintain a sense of empowerment when faced with the uncertainties that come our way in life. As humans, we have a lot of mysteries within us that can help us grow and become more present, accepting, and open to life's complexities. Whenever we find ourselves overthinking and trying to decipher every aspect of our journey, we can choose to take a moment, breathe, and embrace the experience without judgment. By doing so, we can deepen our connection to genuine spiritual wisdom. Lesson 2. Distance yourself from all the negativity to achieve inner peace. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Jane who embarked on a journey to discover inner peace by distancing herself from negativity. Jane was always prone to worrying. Since she was young, she had a tendency to concentrate on the negative aspects of things, potential dangers, worst-case scenarios, and all the possible mishaps that could occur. She couldn't escape the relentless cycle of worrisome thoughts and ominous visions. As Jane grew older, she realized that her negative mindset was having a significant impact on her well-being. She often felt anxious and would become irritable with her loved ones over minor issues. She would become overwhelmed by even the smallest setback or negative news story, causing her mood to plummet. She couldn't find contentment and peace of mind as negativity took over her thoughts. Jane came to the realization that she needed to make a change during a challenging period in her late 30s. She was feeling absolutely miserable and overwhelmed due to a combination of work stress, family conflicts, and general anxiety over the state of the world. She felt overwhelmed by the weight she was carrying and realized that a change was necessary. Jane started seeing a counselor who introduced her to mindfulness practices such as meditation and conscious breathing. Gradually, she discovered how to observe her negative thought patterns without passing judgment or exaggerating them. Whenever she experienced catastrophizing or cynicism, she would simply label those thoughts as negative mental chatter and allow them to pass. Alongside her personal growth, Jane started making decisions to reduce her exposure to negativity in her surroundings. She decided to stop following people on social media who were constantly negative and spreading fear. She decided to reduce her consumption of cable TV news due to its constant stream of outrage narratives. She made sure to have a supportive circle of friends who encouraged her to think positively and avoid dwelling on worst-case scenarios. It was a challenging journey with numerous obstacles along the way. Jane often found herself falling back into negative patterns, succumbing to cynicism, or getting caught up in scrolling through social media posts about various catastrophes. However, she continued to practice stepping back, focusing on her breath and surrounding herself with positive perspectives and supportive people. Jane started to experience moments of deep peace and balance in her everyday life. Her default state shifted from anxiety and bracing for the worst. She experienced a sense of lightness, increased presence, and a newfound ability to release the negativity that had burdened her for an extended period of time. Despite encountering difficult situations, Jane discovered that she became more skilled at preventing them from becoming exaggerated or overly concerning about the future. Jane continues to face life's inevitable challenges. However, she now navigates through those challenges with a newfound clarity, understanding that succumbing to negativity only perpetuates more negativity. Jane has created a peaceful inner sanctuary that remains unaffected by external turbulence. She achieved this by stepping back, limiting exposure to toxic influences, and reorienting her perspective. Her ability to gracefully navigate life's challenges continues to inspire those around her. We all have to confront the constant flow of negative thoughts, self-criticism, and inner voices that plague our minds. These include harsh self-judgments, dwelling on our mistakes and flaws, and creating paralyzing fears and worst-case scenarios when our thoughts spiral out of control. If we don't have the necessary skills and presence of mind, our internal mental environments can become as polluted and toxic as the external landscape due to our unconscious negative patterning. If we don't learn to detach ourselves from the negativity that surrounds us and our own negative thoughts, we run the risk of feeling completely overwhelmed, cynical, and hopeless about ourselves and the world. Gradually, our daily experience and overall well-being are negatively affected by a growing sense of powerlessness to overcome this tide of negativity. However, achieving inner peace, clarity, and unwavering calm in the midst of life's challenges becomes difficult when we constantly surround ourselves with negativity and the negative thoughts it generates within us. Peace is all about finding inner calm and composure, no matter what's happening around us. How can we find a sense of calm and peace amidst the chaos of our surroundings? The constant bombardment of noise, distractions, and negative thoughts can make it difficult to achieve a state of tranquility and positivity. The negative influences we allow into our lives can have a detrimental effect on our inner peace and spiritual well-being. One of the most important things we can do to find peace and calm in our lives is to learn how to separate ourselves from the constant negativity that surrounds us. We need to find ways to protect ourselves from the negative influences around us, whether it's the news, complaining, or our own negative thoughts. By creating space and using effective techniques, we can shield ourselves from being unconsciously affected by this negativity. It is important for us to establish strong boundaries and safeguards to protect our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being from harmful influences that can disrupt our inner peace. One of the biggest challenges in trying to distance ourselves from negativity is how prevalent it is in our modern environment. It feels like negativity is constantly bombarding us from every direction, making it difficult to avoid. Everywhere we turn, we are bombarded with negativity and despair. The news, social media, the radio, and even casual conversations with coworkers seem to be filled with pessimism, doom predictions, and cynical expressions that can leave us feeling hopeless. If we don't stay mindful and intentional, we might unknowingly absorb negativity, which can disturb our inner peace. It's important to be mindful of the information we consume, the thoughts we entertain, and the emotions we engage in. In today's culture, negativity has become the norm, so it's crucial to consciously choose a different path. At its core, we have a choice to make. Either we let the negativity around us consume our minds and emotions, disrupting our inner peace, or we become aware observers who consciously filter our thoughts and sensory experiences. Are we willing to give in to the easier route, embracing negative stories, dwelling on victimhood, and allowing our fears and tendency to catastrophize to control how we perceive reality? Can we learn to detach ourselves from negativity and protect our inner peace, even when surrounded by it? Making this choice requires ongoing commitment to maintaining clear awareness and consistently practicing techniques that enhance our spiritual balance. If we allow ourselves to be guided solely by unconscious patterns, we will find ourselves constantly at the mercy of negative influences, our inner lives constantly disrupted by their destabilizing effects. To effectively distance ourselves from negativity, it's important to be selective about the information we expose ourselves to. We have been told by wise spiritual teachings that we have the power to control the thoughts that enter our minds. While we may not be able to prevent every thought from arising, we can decide which thoughts we want to focus on and give our attention to. What we consume through our media and information sources follows the same principle. To make our lives more positive, we should be mindful of what we expose ourselves to. It's important to limit our consumption of mainstream news, negative social media feeds, entertainment that promotes cynicism or cruelty, and energy fields that are filled with complaints, but no solutions. By making simple adjustments to our daily habits, we can create a more peaceful and rejuvenating environment. For instance, instead of engaging in hate-reading cultural commentary that only fuels our outrage, we can choose to ignore it. Similarly, when cable news becomes heated and demoralizing, we can simply change the channel. Another helpful step is to mute or unfollow social media groups that are filled with excessive negativity. These small changes can provide the much-needed space for rest and rejuvenation. To make things easier to grasp, we need to be mindful of what we allow into our minds and hearts. It's important to filter out negative influences and be selective about the thoughts and emotions we nurture within ourselves. Without proper attention, the human mind often gravitates towards anxious thought patterns, dwelling on past regrets and grievances and imagining worst-case scenarios for the future. This can lead to a negative and distrustful outlook on ourselves, others, and the world around us. It's important to have simple and easy-to-understand techniques to break free from toxic cognitive tendencies and stop fueling their influence. It's important to have personalized methods in place to break free from negative thought patterns. This could include practicing meditative breathwork, shifting our focus to more positive thoughts, engaging in physical activity to release stagnant energy, or using affirmations to realign ourselves with trust and faith. We can protect our inner realm from negativity by developing self-awareness and having the determination to reject its influence. It may appear that we are inevitably exposed to negativity in our busy modern lives, but the reality is that our focus and energy shape our experiences. If we focus solely on stories that separate us, make us afraid, and emphasize scarcity and negativity, we unintentionally contribute to creating those negative experiences in our own lives. It becomes a cycle that reinforces itself. On the other hand, if we make a conscious effort to detach ourselves from negative influences and focus instead on positive aspects like beauty, faith, healing, and our desired goals, we will align ourselves with the uplifting energies of positivity, love, and creation. We engage in a harmonious interaction with the universal field of creative intelligence, enabling us to serve as channels for greater enlightenment instead of getting stuck in negative paths of decline, hopelessness, and disintegration. Simply put, when we gain a deep understanding of how to handle negativity, we can regain our natural spiritual power and take control of our own consciousness and experiences. Embarking on this journey of radical discernment and distancing from negativity can be quite challenging in our modern world. It will demand unwavering intention and commitment for a significant duration. The external and internal negativity streams have a strong pull, like burrs clinging to our clothing. The negative thought viruses and cynical energy patterns can hook into our consciousness and perpetuate themselves, even when we want to be free of them. To protect ourselves from negativity's harmful effects, we need to develop the habit of compassionately observing and detaching from our automatic reactions. This can be achieved by practicing mindfulness and conscious living, which help us maintain inner peace even in the face of external challenges. Modern people have a responsibility to avoid getting caught up in the conflicts and negativity of our time. It's important to resist the temptation to define ourselves solely through these amplified conflicts. We must remain steadfast, unwavering, and resolute in our inner work and commitment to peace. By following this path, we can become living examples of the peace that our world urgently needs in these challenging times. Lesson 3. You can't control everything, but you can control how you react. It's common in our modern world to feel like we have complete control over our lives. Thanks to our focus on individualism, efficiency, and the illusion of mastery. We are taught from a young age that by being disciplined, determined, and strategic, we can have control over most aspects of our daily lives to match our preferences, looking to achieve specific career goals, create a desired lifestyle, or reach personal milestones within a clear time framework. Follow your plan. Ensure all the necessary steps are taken, and believe that you have the power to shape your future. Struggling with challenging relationships, work situations, or external factors causing disruption. Apply effective management strategies to balance different aspects of your life. We are often led to believe that we have complete control over our lives and can shape them according to our own plans and rules. This approach of exerting control over every aspect of human life is rooted in underlying philosophies that hold great importance in modern secular society. We have inherited a perspective that sees us as separate people, responsible for shaping the world to fit our own desires. Technology's rapid advancement has given us the confidence to believe that there are no boundaries to what we can control and manipulate, both in our surroundings and within ourselves, according to our own desires. By utilizing our willpower and applying leverage in the right places, we can gain control over all occurrences and variables. There are fewer and fewer aspects of life that we feel we have no control over and must simply accept. When we give up our responsibility for conscious discernment to the technologies and systems shaping our modern environment, the controlling mindset becomes even more powerful. We incorporate apps, devices, and services into our daily routines, with the intention of gaining control, convenience, and predictability. However, we often become captivated by their prompts and the engineered dopamine pathways that strengthen our attachments. We often find ourselves engrossed in social media, which can create a false sense of control through carefully crafted personal images. At the same time, it subtly influences our thoughts through ranking systems and algorithms. One option is to go with a straightforward approach. There is a new wave of apps and platforms that promote life hacking, biohacking, and productivity techniques. These tools aim to satisfy our desire for control and organization, but they also make us less tolerant of uncertainty and disorder. We increasingly rely on AI assistants, predictive analytics, and digital middleware to make everyday decisions and guide us through our lives. These tools aim to streamline and simplify our existence into a more abstract and optimized form. Over time, we have built a strong barrier around our personal experiences, leaving little room for spontaneity or unpredictability. Regardless of how widespread and enticing this need for control may be, it is a false belief that will inevitably crumble when the unpredictable nature of reality defies our attempts to manipulate and control it based on our fears. Understanding life can be a challenging task, as it is influenced by complex and mysterious forces beyond our comprehension. The ups and downs of life. Uncertainty, loss, change, surprise, and the choices made by others are all unpredictable factors that cannot be controlled or suppressed by meticulous planning and control. At some point, we all go through moments of realization that challenge our beliefs and force us to confront the fact that we don't have as much control over our lives as we thought. During these challenging times, we are confronted with our fears and questions about our identity. We must confront the fragility of our carefully constructed self-stories and how we have mistakenly associated peace and safety with imposing narrow, self-centered conditions on life's natural course. We are provided with a peek into the inner workings and self-regulating principles of the universe, which are far beyond our ability to control solely through willpower. Although these awakenings may initially feel unsettling and even overwhelming, they also hold the potential for our gradual journey towards a more enlightened way of living and actively participating in the interconnected web of forces that brought us into existence. When we create a calm and reflective environment to observe these moments of losing control with curiosity instead of fear, we begin to realize that the greatest power we have as humans is not the ability to control and predict every aspect of our lives through force. Our greatest strength lies in our capacity to consciously engage with everything beyond our control. Learning to harness our inner abilities of composure, openness, imaginative thinking, moral judgment, and faith in the extraordinary course of life, regardless of our self-centered desires, is crucial. We realize that having complete control over the entire human story was never intended. As such, an all-encompassing plan would go against the natural principles of change, choice, and organic growth that are inherent in the universe's processes. Understanding our personal sovereignty lies in how we cultivate our state of consciousness and choose the qualities we bring to navigate life's surprises. Do we opt for a path filled with anxiety, control, anger, and excessive analysis, futilely trying to bend everything to our limited desires? Will we embrace the peace and wisdom of radical acceptance, presence, and letting go? Can we trust that existence holds spiritual growth beyond our imagination? We may not have control over when, where, or how events happen in our lives. However, we always have the power to choose how we interpret and respond to these events. Our choices can either close us off and create resistance, or open us up to greater opportunities for growth and participation in the unfolding of the universe. We come to understand that our life experience is not meant to be a self-centered quest for control, but rather an endless chance for us to become skilled artists, musicians, and dancers who are in tune with the ever-changing realms of energetic harmony that underlie all creation. The power of letting go and not getting caught up in trying to control every detail of how things align is truly remarkable. It's amazing how countless coincidences seem to fall into place when we simply release our attachment to rigid expectations. We can see how our attempts to control situations based on our narrow perspectives can prevent us from tapping into the abundant sources of inspiration and momentum that are accessible when we remain receptive, humble, and aware of the guidance from our higher selves and the universal intelligence that is always present. Interestingly, it is during those moments when we feel the least in control that we have the opportunity to reach new spiritual heights, find purpose, and unlock our full human potential. To achieve true awakening, we need to let go of our illusions of control and ego-driven belief systems. Through transformative experiences, we can come to understand that our attempts to dominate existence are limited and insignificant compared to the powerful forces at work in the ever-changing universe. Those moments in our personal journeys when everything appeared to be falling apart are carefully crafted plans unraveling into what seemed like chaos and disorder can actually be transformative opportunities. They serve as gateways to reconnecting with the underlying harmonies that cannot be accessed by clinging to certainty, avoiding risks, and trying to control everything. These valleys are where our egos are humbled, allowing us to grow into ethical adults who serve love's purposes instead of being self-centered beings who expect everything to cater to our unrealistic desires. By practicing consistently, we can develop a high level of mastery in staying present and centered, while also embracing the constant flow and unexpected changes of life. Our approach to personal growth evolves from defensive measures against the uncontrollable to embracing the unpredictable and navigating it skillfully. We can perceive and align ourselves with the ever-emerging creative forces that arise from the unknown, constantly seeking harmony. We develop the ability to adapt and respond to complex patterns without being bound by rigid beliefs or ideologies. By embracing a more inclusive perspective, we can tap into our innate wisdom and effortlessly align with the interconnectedness of all things. This opens up new possibilities for intuitive understanding and allows us to fully embrace our role as conscious participants in the dance of life. In essence, the journey of human existence can be seen as a path of growth where we are encouraged to move past our primitive desires for power and control. Through a series of enlightening experiences, we come to realize the extent to which our rigid beliefs have held us back. Understanding and embracing the changes and transformations that constantly occur in the cosmic spiral can lead us to more liberated states of being. By letting go of our defenses and being open to the unpredictable, we can experience breakthroughs in our controlling narratives. We were never cast aside into a cold, uncaring universe that demanded our subjugation for the sake of security. We were constantly guided towards the understanding that true security can only be found by embracing our innate abilities to care for and protect. Within a world of constant change and endless possibilities that will always defy attempts to hinder its magnificent and enigmatic evolution, our experience on Earth has been centered around embracing growth, harmony, and love as we actively participate in the ever-changing cycle of life. We can find peace by learning to balance our energy and remaining open to forces beyond our control. This allows us to embrace the constant changes and transformations that are a natural part of life. Lesson 4. Understand that your problems have an expiration date and will pass. During our toughest times, it's natural to feel overwhelmed and believe that our current struggles will never end. When we find ourselves in intense emotional states, feeling overwhelmed by the challenges life throws at us, we tend to see these situations as never-ending patterns that we're stuck in. It's common for our minds to become overwhelmed by the challenges, difficulties, and setbacks we face, causing us to get stuck in negative thought patterns that make the situation seem even worse than it actually is. We tend to focus solely on the current distress and assume that because it feels so overwhelming right now, it must mean that we will be trapped in a never-ending cycle of suffering. Navigating through deep personal struggles can be incredibly challenging, especially for people who have experienced significant trauma, wounds, or deprivation in their lives. Given our natural inclination to find meaning, anticipate future events, and make sense of our experiences, it's no surprise that we interpret the overwhelming sense of being overwhelmed by current chaos as an indication that this difficult period will likely persist for a while. As humans, we have a natural tendency to make connections and draw conclusions based on our emotions. Sometimes this can lead us to create negative thought patterns that make us feel trapped in a never-ending cycle of distress and despair. During these times, many people experience a deep existential fear that can be intensified. It's a primal anxiety that suggests our current suffering may be destined to be our ongoing fate. When we are deeply distressed, it is common to feel disconnected and lost, without any sense of purpose or positivity. It is tempting to believe that the challenges we face now indicate a permanent separation from happiness, growth, and the fulfillment that comes from living a meaningful life. It seems clear to us, from our current perspective, that the future holds challenges and hardships that may seem overwhelming. We often react based on our past experiences of feeling unworthy and abandoned, believing that we will never be able to experience the positive aspects of life or find healing and solace. However, when we take a moment to distance ourselves from the overwhelming emotions and mental landscapes during times of personal struggle, we can gain a valuable perspective. We come to realize that one of the fundamental truths of life is that all things, no matter how significant they may seem to us, are temporary and will eventually fade away. When we look at our soul's journey through many lives, we start to see a pattern that connects all our experiences and transitions between different states of consciousness. We understand that the current challenges we face, although they may feel overwhelming, are just another part of the ongoing journey of our souls as we navigate through different experiences. Although we must acknowledge and respect the challenges we face, it's important to remember that they are temporary moments in our journey towards growth and self-discovery. Every time we experience darkness, no matter how intense, it has a greater purpose. It serves as the foundation for new growth and transformation towards wholeness and progress. The darkness of womb and the intense experiences we have in life serve as transformative processes that cleanse our souls and allow for new growth and liberation. Looking at the bigger picture, we are reminded that the ups and downs we experience are temporary and won't last forever. Even the longest periods of despair, chaos, or difficulty we experience in our lives must adhere to the natural laws of change and transformation that govern the universe. On a deeper level, beyond our individual stories, we are part of a timeless cycle of spiritual and physical existence. The forces that bring forth anguish can sometimes cloud our vision during challenging times. However, these forces also hold the wisdom that can help us transition from our old ways of being to new and emerging versions of ourselves. This transformation can only happen through the difficult experiences that we encounter. It is quite a challenging task to develop the ability to embrace a broader spiritual perspective of impermanence and constant change, especially when faced with intense trials. When the human organism goes through deep wounds, upheavals, or deprivation, it can experience intense emotional fragmentation that disconnects it from the wider cosmological context. Understanding the depths of our awareness can be challenging when we are overwhelmed by reactive emotions and feelings of anguish and alienation. The content streams of traumatic sequencing consume us completely, as our limited perspectives become fragments of mirrored darkness, reflecting the narrowing contraction into chambers of endless despair. Without the guidance of spiritual practice and alignment with our souls, these egoistic reactions can become overwhelming and create a sense of permanence in our difficulties. Understanding and navigating the challenges of life is the journey we have chosen to undertake in order to find our place in the world. Our souls are driven to explore the psychedelic experimental theater of life, where we can develop important skills like presence, persistence, trust, and surrender. This journey often involves navigating chaos, loss of meaning, spiritual challenges, and ego transformation. Although we may sometimes feel lost in the darkness, our souls hold the promise of transformation, the return of light after times of emptiness, and the lessons learned from our trials that lead to greater wisdom. When we learn to bring these higher perspectives into our everyday lives, especially during challenging times when we feel lost and disconnected, we begin to find balance and faith in the positive outcomes that lie ahead after we navigate through tough situations. Our understanding of ourselves expands into something much larger than the individual currently going through the process of personal growth. We are comforted by the belief that there are greater forces at play in the universe that go beyond our temporary hardships. Although our current struggles feel very real, they are part of a transformative process that will ultimately lead to new and enlightening experiences of growth, understanding, and freedom, once we fully embrace their significance. Being patient, present, and accepting of ourselves during difficult times can help heal the parts of us that have been traumatized. This process reminds us that the idea of permanence is an illusion caused by our resistance to the natural cycle of change and renewal that is inherent in life. Through a clear understanding of the fundamental nature of everything in the world around us, we come to realize that our true essence is not confined to the specific experiences and roles of any one lifetime. Instead, we perceive ourselves as something more fundamental and unwavering, the clear, expansive foundation of consciousness that acts as the intangible canvas on which all fleeting experiences, whether joyful or painful, briefly manifest before fading away to reveal deeper truths. In this state of primordial awareness, no experience can overpower us or completely consume our attention. We navigate through occasional turbulence like experienced skydivers, while focusing on finding moments of calmness amidst the chaotic winds and currents surrounding us. When we embrace a state of eternal calmness, we come to realize that no matter how challenging a situation may seem to us, it does not hold ultimate power over our inner selves. It naturally moves, transforms, and changes every visible form of worry, sadness, and uncertainty into the next moment of understanding, beauty, and unexplainable return to a greater love. We find stability in this state, allowing us to gracefully navigate the ever-changing nature of life. We move between moments of light and shadow, darkness and clarity, all in service of our personal growth and transformation. Lesson 5. Real peace can't be bought because it is a grace. We are often led to believe that we can obtain anything we desire, as long as we have the means to do so. It's amazing how many things we can obtain simply by purchasing the right products, services, or memberships, from health and beauty to social belonging, entertainment, knowledge, and notions of status and success. It's all within reach. Our identities and overall senses of meaning have become closely tied to the constant pursuit of acquiring and accumulating new and improved external objects, possessions, and access portals. These things can provide temporary distractions from existential angst or the promise of fulfillment. Our society has become deeply entangled in the addictive allure of convenience, instant gratification, and the illusion of complete personal freedom. This is largely due to the overwhelming influence of commercialization and our relentless pursuit of consumption. Considering the pervasive influence of materialism, it's not surprising that many people's natural methods of seeking peace of mind, heart, and spirit resemble the pursuit of material possessions. During times of stress, emptiness, anger, grief, or inner turmoil, we often seek external sources of comfort. This may involve engaging in retail therapy and buying things we don't actually need or want. jumping from one trend or self-help method to another for temporary relief, or indulging in excessive sensory experiences to distract ourselves from our inner struggles. The idea that true peace cannot be obtained through external transactions in the commercialized world goes against our upbringing and the ingrained beliefs we have had since birth. It seems that when we have a desire for peace, we often try to achieve it by displaying our wealth or status. This could involve buying something that represents peace, participating in a program or experience that promises peace, or seeking temporary satisfaction through consumption to create a false sense of balance. However, true and lasting peace is not something that can be obtained or possessed like a material possession. It is a deep and unshakable state of calmness, mindfulness, and unity that spiritual traditions and mystics have long recognized as our fundamental nature. This state of peace permeates all of existence, serving as the foundation of stillness, from which all temporary forms emerge and fade away. In this profound spiritual and metaphysical perspective, peace is not a fixed goal or state to be pursued through material possessions. Instead, it is the ever-present foundation from which all of existence continuously emerges and fades away. Understanding this concept does not require any complicated processes or expensive purchases. It simply involves recognizing that our conscious awareness is the foundation on which all our experiences arise, much like waves on the ocean. Peace is not something we obtain, but rather it is the very essence from which we originate. It is our fundamental nature that exists beneath all of our experiences. Discussing peace in this context is extremely challenging, as it refers to the indescribable essence of existence that cannot be fully understood or captured by conceptual frameworks or language used to describe temporary experiences. Peace is the ultimate state of consciousness, beyond any object or description. It is the indescribable emptiness and fullness from which all apparent differences arise and dissolve. It is not something to be obtained or experienced internally, but rather the unimaginable essence that all aspects of existence briefly recognize before returning to their source of tranquil unity. The challenge we face is to embrace and embody a deep sense of inner peace without relying on external knowledge or personal achievements. This requires letting go of our attachment to the ego and its desires, fears, and possessions. We need to fully surrender ourselves to the ocean of awareness without any agenda or fixed identity. By allowing its innate lucidity to permeate us, we can gain a clear understanding that peace is not something we acquire, but rather a recollection of our eternal connection to its boundless expanse. Many cultures have ancient traditions that offer techniques for realizing our true nature and letting go of our attachments to thoughts and perceptions that create a false sense of identity. These traditions also provide methods for aligning our thinking with the awareness of our fundamental existence. Various practices, such as meditation, prayer, breathwork, energy practices, ceremonies, pilgrimages, and self-examination, can help us see through the illusion of a separate self and find inner peace. We experience a deep transformation where we let go of our fixed beliefs about our individual identities and embrace a state of pure awareness that is calm and free from any restrictions or barriers. In this state, we are open to the unfolding of life's mysteries in each present moment. Peace is not something we can acquire, but rather an inherent state that underlies all experiences when we let go of our egoic attachments to separate identities. Walking the path towards peace and self-realization is a significant endeavor. It involves going beyond our natural inclinations towards acquiring things. fixating on objects and holding on to beliefs about our separate selves with desires, needs, and goals. It requires us to release our attachment to the idea of being a self-centered ego, in control of creating peace through personal actions and interactions within the physical world. We need to adopt transformative measures to let go of our false sense of ownership, consumption, and illusions of separation between subject and object. By freeing ourselves from conceptual barriers, we can awaken to the realization that we and all experiences are manifestations of a single, peaceful essence that takes on various forms across different dimensions and levels of existence. We need to understand that we are always at peace, regardless of the different roles we take on throughout our lives. Peace is not something that can be obtained through grand endeavors or journeys, but rather it is a fundamental state of awareness that we can rediscover by letting go of our ego. Instead of treating peace as a valuable commodity to obtain or possess, it actually requires a different approach. It involves letting go of our selfish desires to acquire, accumulate, and rely on external factors that contribute to our lack of peace. We are offered the opportunity to achieve spiritual liberation, freeing ourselves from the illusion of being a separate consumer on a never-ending quest for fulfillment. Understanding peace, at its core, means letting go of our consumeristic mindset and rejecting the idea that peace can be achieved through material possessions or temporary states of contentment. This is about finding a state of complete peace and balance. By letting go of desires, attachments, and efforts, and instead embracing a state of pure observation without judgment. The process of completely letting go and merging with the oneness of existence leads to a clear understanding that peace is not something we attain or experience individually, but rather it is the unchanging foundation of our fundamental reality. All beings and manifestations arise and fade away within this eternal unity. Much like rainbows in a vast and infinite field, this peace is inherent to our existence, surpassing any material possessions or achievements. It has always been and will continue to be a constant presence in our lives. Lesson 6. Meditate on whatever is honorable, right, pure, lovely, good, virtuous, and praiseworthy. Our senses are constantly bombarded with negativity. Immoral acts and cruelties displayed in society, constant fear, mongering, and a pervasive atmosphere of cynicism and distrust in our conversations. It's important to be mindful of the information we consume, as it can easily lead us to feel disheartened about the state of humanity if we're not careful. However, if we intentionally focus our minds on the positive qualities of goodness, purity, and nobility that exist in our lives, we can create a strong sense of peace and connection with the divine. The wise teachings from various traditions encourage us to consciously embrace and nurture qualities such as honor, justice, courage, grace, beauty, and compassion. By doing so, we defy the negative forces that seek to influence us. It's important to resist the negative influences of fear, cruelty, depravity, and separation that constantly try to pull us down. Meditating on the eternal qualities that reflect humanity's highest divine potentials helps us align ourselves as conduits for sacred frequencies to manifest. We are transformed into conduits, channeling the timeless principles of unity, truth, wisdom, and redemptive love into the vast cosmic realm. In doing so, we counteract the forces of chaos and decay, nurturing the vision of a planet that is fully awakened. We can better understand our place in the universe by recognizing the positive aspects of humanity and spreading their influence throughout the world. We have a unique role in creation as active participants rather than mere spectators. Our purpose is to embody and express the highest virtues, even in the face of chaos and decline. We have the innate ability to embody and transmit the timeless ideals of heroism, self-mastery, and grace, allowing for the emergence of new revolutions of harmony. Amidst the constant focus on conflicts and moral issues, we must remain steadfast in our meditation on the timeless qualities that go beyond divisions, all in service of a more enlightened world. However, maintaining our position as thoughtful reflections on timeless goodness demands ongoing mindful effort, as it can be overwhelming to be consumed by society's prevailing stories of pain, division, and hostility. The world bombards us with displays of misery, malevolence, and chaos, causing us to react by either focusing on self-preservation or engaging in futile aggression. It is important to stay dedicated to the path of a true spiritual warrior, focusing on embracing beauty, truth, honor, and compassion in our lives, despite the negative influences around us. By understanding and internalizing these fundamental frequencies, practicing them through focused meditation and incorporating them into our inner spaces, we establish ourselves as stable vessels for the divine essence to manifest on earth. Regardless of the challenges and negativity in the world, we have the ability to bring positivity and goodness into our lives. We prioritize understanding and promoting positive aspects of reality that serve as examples for our species. This helps us stay resilient against the negative influences of hatred, tribalism, and cynicism. Our reflections on what is beautiful, courageous, and honorable become powerful expressions that bring new harmony to the world. Transformative movements that guide us towards a better future for all. We serve as broadcasting towers, transmitting purifying scalar frequencies from the source domains. Our purpose is to bring about accelerated global transfiguration, aligning humanity with the divine blueprints of unified embodied virtue. By taking mindful breaths and connecting with the essence of humanity, we can tap into the profound healing power of the quantum matrix. This allows us to initiate positive transformations that reverberate throughout the fabric of time and space. Our inner thoughts and actions have a profound impact on the world around us. We remain connected to and value virtue, wisdom, and the positive qualities that are inherent in the fabric of existence. These qualities shine brightly amidst the challenges that surround us on Earth. As we align ourselves with the timeless principles of beauty, truth, and heroism, our energy bodies become channels for these sacred codes to manifest in our world. By focusing our meditation on the noble and admirable aspects of the human spirit, we can greatly impact and bless the world. We firmly hold our ground in seeking and sharing the purest and most noble aspects of our shared experiences. Like vessels, we receive the radiant energy from the interconnected source. We strive to stay focused on wisdom, justice, compassion, and divinity, even when these values may be overshadowed or ignored in the world around us. This process transforms our being into a source of unwavering peace. We embody the triumph over cynicism, hatred, and unconsciousness, rendering all forms of hatred and darkness irrelevant. We strongly believe in the power of virtue and strive to live a life of integrity. This helps us stay grounded and allows us to experience the beauty of the world around us. Peace is not something to be sought after externally, but rather a state of resonance with the eternal qualities that our dedicated meditation nurtures and brings to life in all realms. Lesson 7. Let your soul find rest in God alone. Spiritual traditions from various cultures and civilizations reveal a secret. The profound peace that our souls long for cannot be found in the temporary objects, experiences, or external distractions that society provides. True peace can only be achieved by embarking on a journey to reconnect with the source from which everything originated. This journey requires us to find a state of inner stillness, balanced equanimity, and deep spiritual fulfillment. This journey requires complete surrender, letting go of all attachments to tribe, persona, belief, material possessions, or temporary identities. It is about connecting our awareness to the ultimate source of creation and sustenance, which remains unaffected by any phenomenon or experience. Peace can become our abiding essence, instead of just a temporary experience to pursue. By anchoring the soul's steadfastness in the eternal ground of being, this unchanging substratum of infinite potentiality underlies all manifestation. Discovering the secret peace that surpasses all understanding is the essence of the mystic's calling. Amidst the chaos of human dramas and the complexities of culture, the mystic seeks to find solace by continuously reconnecting with the source of absolute being. The foundation for abiding in real peace at all times is found in the One without a second, the primordial consciousness that radiates like waves upon its infinite ocean. Nothing in this world can bring lasting peace, whether it's a situation, material possession, belief system, or achievement. They are all temporary and subject to change. Our identity is often tied to experiences that come and go, constantly changing and replacing each other. However, relying solely on these experiences for a sense of belonging, safety, and fulfillment can be precarious. Finding true peace requires a deep connection with our inner selves, a return to our eternal essence that has always been present. The spiritual teachings emphasize the need to go beyond mere intellectual exercises and conceptual word games. They highlight the importance of undoing our deeply ingrained patterns of identification with the body, thoughts, emotions, roles, personalities, and other limited perspectives through which we usually perceive reality. We need to gradually detach our consciousness from temporary objects of perception and let go of the idea that we can find a sense of belonging in fleeting experiences or constructed identities. This task of dismantling the chains that have kept us trapped in the endless cycle of pain, life, and death demands a great deal of bravery, openness, mindfulness, and acceptance. Undergoing a form of metaphysical dying while still in incarnation involves systematically shedding each provisional mask, story, and psychic orbit that we have clung to for a sense of safety and belonging. However, the act of divestment and voluntary ego, annihilation, is not driven by a sense of despair or nihilism due to the pain of identifying with temporary things. Instead, it stems from a growing understanding of love that acknowledges our soul's eternal essence and their inherent connection to the unchanging peace of God. We let go of all other loyalties because we come to realize that the fleeting experiences we cling to for our identities can never truly provide the lasting peace that our true selves seek. We all long for a solution to the constant lack of water and dissatisfaction that we experience in life. This drives us to consistently look inward and realize that the peace and tranquility we desire can be found within ourselves, separate from the illusions of the outside world. As we shift our focus away from identifying with any specific aspect of existence and towards the timeless essence of our being, our consciousness naturally finds a deep sense of inner peace that is always present. Life's ups and downs, the joys and sorrows that constantly affect us, start to seem like passing breezes over the calm and unchanging essence of our existence in God. Intensities that used to cause reactivity and dispersion can now be embraced and held in our awareness without causing more suffering and unconscious patterns. The inner crucible becomes a stable place where an unshakable peace resides, serving as the source from which creative expressions are given form and then released into the boundless void. We can experience a sense of inner freedom and peace even while living in the physical world. We can always maintain our inner peace, regardless of any circumstances, because we have learned to let go of temporary experiences without attachment or resistance. We witness the joys and sorrows of life, embracing both the beautiful and the heartbreaking. Our sense of self remains steady, rooted in a serene inner peace that aligns with our authentic nature. We have reached a point where the complexities of the world no longer have the power to unsettle us. We have returned to being the emanations of the source, observing each instance of separateness like a hologram, emerging and fading away within the unified field of oneness where we find peace. Peace is now the core of our being, effortlessly experienced and unshaken as we are aware of our infinite existence across all realms. Our ultimate destination is a state of pure tranquility, where we can fully connect with the divine and find complete and unconditional peace. Lesson 8. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Melanie who embarked on a journey to discover inner peace. Along her path, she learned the importance of embracing and living in the present moment. Through her experiences, Melanie found a newfound sense of tranquility and contentment. Melanie had a tendency to overthink things and had been dealing with anxiety for as long as she could remember. She was constantly lost in thought, dwelling on the past or fretting about the future. The current moment seemed elusive, always slipping through her fingers. Melanie's mind often wandered, dwelling on embarrassing moments from her childhood, past regrets, or imagining worst-case scenarios for the future. It was as if she was never fully present in the here and now. She missed out on a lot. The breathtaking sight of a sunset, the joy of laughter with friends, or the pure bliss of a peaceful morning. Melanie's mind was always buzzing with activity, which often left her feeling exhausted, stressed, and disconnected from her inner peace and stability. Her anxious thought patterns seemed to constantly overshadow her, making it challenging to find any lasting peace. Melanie reached a breaking point in her mid-30s when her constant overthinking led to health problems and strained her closest relationships. She recognized the need for a change, yet struggled to quiet her restless thoughts. Conventional talk therapy offered some relief, but failed to address the underlying issue of her difficulty in staying present in the moment. Discovering mindfulness practices such as meditation and breathwork provided Melanie with a way to calm her busy mind. She regained her ability to fully experience the present moment by focusing on her breath, the sounds around her, and the sensation of her feet on the ground. This helped her to stay grounded and reduce her anxiety. Through consistent practice, Melanie became better at recognizing when her mind wandered and gently refocusing her attention on the present moment. By developing her ability to stay present, she found it easier to remain grounded and avoid dwelling on past grievances or worrying about the future. She learned the art of pausing and embracing the present moment, letting go of the constant urge to mentally flee from her immediate surroundings. Melanie's ability to stay present without getting distracted allowed her to experience a profound sense of inner calm. She came to the realization that she had always had the privilege of experiencing this peaceful and open space, but her upbringing had prevented her from fully embracing the present moment. Now, the past revealed moments of beauty, connection, and the sacredness of life. Instead of feeling anxious and distracted, Melanie found solace when she returned home and focused on the tranquility of the present moment. Despite encountering challenges, she was able to overcome them with a strong sense of self-awareness. She embraces a gentle and accepting approach as she learns to let go of conditioned reactions and stories, allowing herself to fully rest in the profound serenity of the present moment's grounded awakening. Many of us have lost touch with the profound teachings and sense of belonging that can only be found by being fully present in the present moment. We often miss out on the beauty of the present moment by constantly daydreaming and getting lost in our thoughts. We often find ourselves dwelling on our pasts, feeling guilty about missed opportunities or choices we didn't have the awareness to make during earlier stages of our journeys. With each passing moment, we find ourselves consumed by the desire to predict the future, tirelessly strategizing to ensure our own security, financial gain, and personal satisfaction, regardless of the toll it takes on our inner selves. Every moment we breathe is a miracle, a constant unveiling of the world around us. But often, we are too caught up in our own distractions to fully appreciate it. However, the wisdom traditions and lineages of enlightened people emphasize the importance of fully embracing the present moment, which can offer profound insights to those who are ready to receive them. Understanding the true nature of things requires being fully present and aware of the boundless reality unfolding in the present moment. By focusing our consciousness, we can catch a glimpse of the fundamental essence that transcends temporary appearances. This moment is illuminated by the eternal, and I can fully embrace its significance by being completely attentive to the ceremonial offering it presents. What is shown in the present moment is my deep connection to the eternal source that creates everything. This source is always overflowing into the world around us. Letting go of self-created mental concepts and fixations allows us to truly listen and understand our true nature. We are not just passive observers of life, but rather we are aware beings that are deeply connected to the ever-changing world around us. The wise teachers believe that by letting go of the constant desire to escape the present moment through daydreaming about the future or dwelling on past lives, one can reach a higher level of self-awareness and understanding. Emerging from the haze of forgetfulness in the mind, I now understand this body as just another form that exists within the vast and boundless consciousness. It is a mysterious witness to its own existence across all realms and dimensions at once. In this gathering, I am not just observing a series of thoughts, but rather experiencing a deep sense of awareness as the unchanging backdrop in which everything unfolds. I am aware of my eternal nature and realize that I have never been a separate observer, but rather the very essence that manifests through every form. This brings me immense joy as I transcend temporary identities and forms, which come and go like ripples on the surface of a vast and mysterious ocean. To truly embrace these profound insights that arise in the present moment, we must let go of our desire to avoid the reality of the present. It takes courage to be vulnerable and fully experience the rawness of existence, where every breath and every moment unfolds with undeniable urgency. The truth behind every manifestation of reality is that it is intimately connected to the essence of my own being. Each moment is a reflection of my awareness, continuously unfolding and never losing its inherent subjectivity. Greeting the present moment with complete awareness and embracing the beauty it holds is a simple and clear way to let go of fear and live fully in the now. This complete transparency to the ceremonial revelation that every passing moment is directed solely towards me, without any intermediaries or escape routes, is what the enlightened paths have called true meditation, the reconnection of identity with the ever-present source of its boundless potential. Receiving the fullness of reality in the present helps me let go of my limited perspective and narrow sense of self. I am reminded of my eternal essence, which allows the temporary world to showcase its fantastical displays. I am able to witness these fleeting dreams without losing sight of my inherent unity that cannot be limited by any one viewpoint or temporary transformation. Through this ceremonial act of hospitality, I am reminded of my innate connection to the cosmic ritual. Each moment that unfolds before me serves as a reminder of my own existence and the endless possibilities for self-discovery and expression. Our most important task may be to find the courage to fully embrace the present moment without any barriers or distractions. The path of return is revealed through the simple and easy-to-understand ceremonial offerings. It allows us to glimpse the infinite possibilities hidden in the ordinary moments of life. We are the special occasion that every current event aims to reveal and bless into existence. The experience of living in the eternal mystery is something that has been carefully prepared for us since the beginning of time. The divine reunion is happening right here and now, gently reminding us to awaken to the profound sense of belonging that is inherent in our existence. To be fully present and free from psychological illusions is to embrace the reality illusions, is to embrace the reality as it is, without holding back. It invites us to let go of our denials and actively participate in the beautiful experience that can lead us to our true selves. Each moment calls us to be fully present, embracing the infinite possibilities with passion and unconditional acceptance. Lesson 9. Cultivate relationships that support and bring you peace. The alchemical tradition suggests that we can tap into a powerful source of healing and harmony by intentionally nurturing relationships that bring peace into our lives. Throughout various wisdom paths, the importance of conscious relationships in providing a sanctuary of energy and harmony has been emphasized. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with people who support our growth and share our values, we can create a sense of stability and peace in our lives. It's important to understand that, as human beings, we are interconnected and influenced by the energy and environment around us. When we are surrounded by stressful, negative, or fear-inducing environments, it can disrupt our inner peace and create imbalances in our energy. On the other hand, being in the presence of calm, kind, and genuine people can help us feel safe and at ease. We are beings connected to the energy fields that surround us, influenced by the people we spend time with and the frequencies in our environment. To achieve lasting peace in our lives, we must become wise caretakers of the relationships we cultivate. The more we engage in harmonious human environments that align with our true nature, the better we can maintain inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Instead of being overwhelmed by negative situations and relationships, we can find empowerment by surrounding ourselves with positive people and creating a harmonious environment. Building strong relationships at various levels of closeness can have a profound impact on our overall well-being. These connections help us find balance in our bodies, create a sense of safety and trust, and foster a harmonious and mindful state of being. Through this inner work, we discover a deep and indescribably beautiful interconnectedness at the core of the universe. Peace is not something to be grasped or owned, but rather a constantly flowing stream of harmony that is created through interconnected feedback loops within the unified field of relationships. We all become both sources and recipients of the peace that encompasses everything. acting as hubs for transmitting and receiving within the overall field. When more people who are aware and committed to peace come together, the power of their collective energy grows stronger and spreads through our connections, creating a harmonious and regenerative effect. Sharing vulnerability and seeking support in intimate relationships can have a powerful and positive impact, fostering peace and growth. It is important to focus on building relationships that bring us peace and fulfillment, as this can have a profound impact on our well-being. In order to maintain the harmonious balance of creation, we must take great care and consciously nurture our interconnected relationships. This involves upholding the grids of love and goodwill that allow everything to resonate in its fullest potential. Every act of domination, neglect, or abuse causes damage and disruption to the interconnected fabric of existence, resulting in devastation and dysfunction. Conversely, when people intentionally come together in harmony, they contribute to the restoration of peace within the universal framework. We help guide and support the spiritual connection that nurtures all beings on their path to enlightenment. Our intentional friendships serve as channels through which the profound peace continuously flows, bringing a tangible sense of grace that nurtures all living beings. Inner Peace. Written and published by Engaslife. Finding inner peace can feel like a daunting task. Our sense of tranquility is often disrupted by the noise and turbulence of daily life. The demands of work, family stresses, political turmoil, and the constant presence of technology make it difficult to find moments of stillness and serenity. However, achieving a state of deep inner peace is a pursuit that many find valuable yet challenging to attain. This approach emphasizes the importance of nurturing relationships that provide us with a lasting sense of peace, going beyond just seeking personal tranquility or temporary refuge in the face of life's challenges. Engaging in the cosmic labor of upholding and expanding the unified field of divine communion is a way to connect with all beings and participate in the ongoing mystery of creation. We contribute our unique vibrations to the cosmic symphony, becoming channels of transformation and connection. Our meaningful connections with others serve as channels for a profound sense of tranquility to reveal itself in every realm. In this process of co-creating networks of relationships filled with the codes of coherence, we form meaningful connections with existence itself. We bring forth new visions of wholeness to celebrate and bless all life's growth and bring about lasting peace. Final lesson: inner peace. Throughout these lessons, we have delved into ageless wisdom and techniques to foster a deep sense of inner peace. Even in the face of life's challenges and hardships, the journey has not been a walk in the park. It has required us to face our most ingrained reactions, constant efforts and attachment to temporary things. We have examined how our egos and conditioning often lead us to seek and hold on to things that cannot bring lasting fulfillment or equanimity. Through the process of introspection, self-compassion, and embracing the formless essence that lies beneath all our experiences, we have discovered the potential for unwavering inner liberation. We have enhanced our capacity to observe without being overwhelmed by life's challenges, and reconnected with our connection to something timeless and unchanging, the everlasting tranquility that forms the foundation of our existence. As we continue on our paths, let us keep in mind a few last reminders. First, it's important to understand that true peace cannot be owned or achieved permanently. Instead, it can only be experienced and embraced in each present moment by staying fully present and letting go of attachments. Furthermore, it's important to remember that our personal challenges, although they can be incredibly difficult and disruptive at times, are not permanent separations from the truth. Every experience, regardless of its intensity, contains the potential for change and eventual end. Our deathless essence is eternally connected to infinite peace, transcending any single passage. Lastly, it is important to note that this journey leads us back to a state of continuous growth and understanding, where we embrace the boundless nature of existence and the perpetual unfolding of life's experiences. Finding peace is not a complicated task. It is the innate essence of our existence that we discover when we fully embrace our true selves.